Okay, let's jump right into this explainer and explore the ultimate biological quest for fuel. Have you ever actually stopped to think about what happens the moment you take a bite of an apple, or how a seemingly stationary tree manages to grow these towering branches? Every single living thing on this planet is constantly running a complex, invisible operation just to stay alive. And really, it all comes down to one fundamental concept. Here's our roadmap for today. We're covering 1. The quest for energy. 2. Plants, the solar factories. 3. The takers, heterotrophic nutrition. 4. Human digestion, the setup. 5. The chemical processing plant. And finally, 6. Absorption and the end.
All right, first up, the quest for energy. Before we get into the weeds here, we need to understand the grand dichotomy of the natural world. The absolute crucial point is understanding that nutrition is simply the biological method of securing fuel from our environment. It's not just about eating a meal, it's the entire process of how an organism obtains the nutrients it desperately needs to run its essential life processes. Whether you're breathing, moving, or growing, it literally all requires fuel. So, life essentially offers two paths. You either act as a maker who builds your own fuel, or a taker who extracts it from others. Autotrophic nutrition is when organisms synthesize their own organic material entirely from inorganic sources, think green plants. Heterotrophic nutrition, on the other hand, is when organisms must derive their food from other living organisms. You and I, we fall squarely into that second category.
Moving on to Section 2. Plants, the solar factories.
Let's look at the makers first. Through photosynthesis, plants literally pull carbon dioxide from the air and water from the earth to synthesize their own food using sunlight. If we break the word down, photo means light, and synthesis means to prepare. By utilizing a green pigment called chlorophyll, plants combine that CO2 and water in the presence of sunlight to produce glucose, which they then store as starch. And as a pretty wonderful byproduct for us, they release oxygen. What's wild is how this natural miracle breaks down into 3 distinct, highly efficient mechanical stages inside the chloroplasts. First, the chlorophyll absorbs the light energy. Second, the plant converts that light energy into chemical energy, while simultaneously splitting water molecules to produce oxygen, a process known as photolysis. Finally, step 3, the carbon dioxide is reduced to form carbohydrates. It is a highly coordinated chemical ballet happening inside literally every green leaf.
Section 3. The takers, heterotrophic nutrition.
But what about the rest of us, the heterotrophs, who demand ready-made food? Well, takers steal energy in 3 distinct ways, depending on their evolutionary strategy. You have saprotrophic nutrition, where organisms like yeast, fungi, and mushrooms feed on dead and decaying material. Then you have the parasitic mode, where an organism obtains food directly from a living host, like the cuscuta plant. And finally, you have holozoic nutrition, where the whole organism is taken in and digested internally. This is what humans do, and surprisingly, it's also what a microscopic amoeba does.
Think about it. Even a microscopic amoeba, a holozoic omnivore, uses what are basically false feet to trap prey in a tiny hug of doom before digesting it. The amoeba extends these finger-like projections called pseudopodia completely around its food, engulfing it. Once it's trapped inside a food vacuole, the food is digested, the nutrients are absorbed directly into the cytoplasm, and any waste is just ejected right back out. It's incredibly simple, but man, is it highly effective.
All right, Section 4. Human digestion. The setup.
Let's scale things up to our own bodies. Whether you are an amoeba or a human, your body follows these exact 5 universal stages to process every single meal. First is ingestion, the actual intake of the food. Then comes digestion, breaking it all down. Third is absorption, getting those nutrients into your system. Fourth is assimilation, where the body actually utilizes the fuel. And finally, egestion, the removal of whatever couldn't be used.
The journey of a single bite starts in the buccal cavity. That's just the fancy scientific term for your mouth. Here, your teeth act as physical grinders, while your muscular tongue circulates the food. But the real magic starts with your saliva. An enzyme called salivary amylase doesn't just mix the food into a soft mass. It immediately acts to kill germs and actually begins the chemical digestion of carbohydrates right there in your mouth. Next, the food drops down the esophagus, or the food pipe. Now, this acts strictly as a transport tube with 0 digestive responsibilities. It simply moves that partially broken down food from your buccal cavity straight into the main chemical processing area.
Which brings us to Section 5, the chemical processing plant.
Welcome to your internal chemical factory. Let's look at exactly how your major organs step up to the plate. The J-shaped stomach releases gastric juices containing hydrochloric acid to create a highly acidic medium, pepsin to digest proteins, and crucially, mucus to protect the stomach's inner wall from its own acid. Then you have the liver, the absolute largest gland in the body, producing bile juice to digest fats, which is stored in the gallbladder. Meanwhile, the leaf-like pancreas is busy releasing insulin and glucagon to maintain the body's sugar levels.
Now get this. It is absolutely staggering to realize that 99% of the actual digestion is completed right as the food exits the stomach and enters the small intestine. All that massive chemical breakdown we just talked about happens incredibly fast to prep the food for the next critical stage.
And that leads us to Section 6, absorption and the end.
Enter the villi. Think of these as thousands of microscopic sponges lining your small intestine to ensure maximum absorption of those hard-earned nutrients. Your small intestine, which consists of the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum, is lined with these finger-like projections. Their entire biological purpose is to dramatically increase the surface area so that the absolute maximum amount of digested food can be absorbed right into the bloodstream. Next up is assimilation, where your body finally utilizes this extracted fuel to keep your organs functioning and keep you moving. This is the big payoff, right? All that cutting, grinding, acid washing, and absorbing was just to get these pure nutrients into your cells so your body can maintain its sugar levels, build new tissues, and basically power your daily life.
And of course, the final stage is egestion. Whatever couldn't be utilized is gathered up in the large intestine, passing through the colon and rectum, and is ultimately sent out of the body. Just like the amoeba getting rid of waste from its little vacuole, our highly complex system finishes the job by cleanly ejecting the unusable remainder.
So, the crucial point to leave you with today. Considering the immense, unseen biological machinery working inside you right at this very second, breaking down molecules, fending off germs, and running a 24/7 chemical energy exchange, are you giving it the fuel it actually deserves? Thank you for exploring the journey of energy with me in this explainer. Keep wondering, and I'll catch you next time.